But let's move into the final topic. We're talking about the New Orleans Pelicans and if they are a top team in the Western Conference. And we will, at least say top means top four, top half of the playoffs. So are they a top four team in the Western Conference is the question we're asking. So far, they have been the best team in the Western Conference. They are undefeated, 4-0 as of recording this. They currently have a game in play without Anthony Davis, so that might be their first loss of the season. But so far, they have been the best offensive team in the league, scoring 128 a night. That was with Anthony Davis having a bad game last night. Still, phenomenal performances from Nikola Mirotic, from Julius Randle. Drew Holiday had 26 last night.
Yeah.
Do you look at this team? Because I was asking you guys before this. I was trying to figure out my playoff, slotting, and I was thinking about possibly putting the Pelicans at like the 4 seed, and you guys said 5 or higher was crazy. So, I mean, do you still stick with that with the way you've seen New Orleans play so far?
It's tough.
I'm gonna say I'm kind of changing my thought process, but it's not necessarily a little bit. Like 40% has to do with what I've seen, because I didn't expect like Nico to come out and play like this, but we've
It's not March yet.
But we've seen this from Nico before. He has an amazing stretch of games, and then he forgets how to play basketball, and that's a little bit over exaggerating, but it's like night and day with Nico. Here's the biggest question for me, and this plays into will they be a top team or not? When will the Rockets and Thunder get it together? That to me is more important, because if the Pelicans keep winning, they might lose tonight against the Jazz. They're losing as we record it. But if they keep winning while the Rockets and Thunder keep struggling in the beginning, they might be able to build themselves a cushion where, hey, we thought the Rockets and Thunder would be a top team, but they're not, and the Pelicans are above them because they built that cushion early in the year.
Well, Oklahoma City has been one of the worst. You could honestly probably say they've been the worst offensive team in the league so far. So, I mean, they should get better, but I don't know if them getting better is going to be enough to jump New Orleans, because I don't think they're really more talented than New Orleans, because you look at their top stars. Who would you rather have, Russell Westbrook or Anthony Davis?
I'll take Anthony Davis.
Anyone with a brain will say Anthony Davis. You look at their second player, then it's Paul George versus probably Drew Holiday. Most people will take Paul George.
Yeah, I'll take Paul George.
But you look at the rest of it: Nikola Mirotic, Julius Randle, each one more against who Oklahoma City has. I'm clearly taking New Orleans. And also, we're talking about the coach as well. Alvin Gentry versus Billy Donovan. I'm taking Alvin Gentry. I think that New Orleans is a better team than OKC. And then you look at, Denver, you look at Los Angeles, the Lakers, you look at other teams like Portland as well. I mean, they have arguments. But I think, when you look at these teams, you have to see, again, who is their number one, who's their number two, what is their main bench rotation, and then who is their coach. And I think New Orleans has some of the best combinations that you have so far. And you look at the way this offense is flowing, and I don't really see a way to stop that backcourt or the front court duo of Anthony Davis and Nikola Mirotic, and really the trio of Randall as well. I mean, they've been absolutely phenomenal. I think it's pretty damn sustainable because they're not really being super efficient in their shooting as well. Because you look at each one more, he struggled. Drew Holiday finally had a great game with 26 points. I still think that there's room to grow in this offense, and they are still the number one team in points per possession in the league with 122, and that's more than Portland has by like 3 points, who has 119. So I still think that what New Orleans is doing offensively is sustainable, and really their thing going into the season was going to be their defense. So I mean, I think that this team can really last the withstand of time as long as everyone could stay healthy.
I mean, for me, it's just the dynamic of going big when everyone else is going small. They've got unanswerable people on their team right now because the league has shifted to playing small ball and going wing heavy. And when you don't have guys who can body up, it leads to Anthony Davis having a free pass, Julius Randle having a free pass. And Nico is big but agile enough. He stretches the floor. He's something that people don't have answers for, because either they've got a 4 who can bang down low, or they've got a 4 who stands out Ryan Anderson style behind the 3-point line. Nico's kind of in that niche middle ground where it's just like, I do a little bit of both, and I'm good at shooting the ball, and he's a passable defender at times.
Let's be honest, though, too. Anthony Davis isn't your he's not your typical big man that we're used to. It's more of a, hey, he's going to play the 5, but he's got skills that a stretch 4 would have. He can pass out of the low post. He can run the floor and not be tired after about 2 or 3 jogs down the court. So it's like they've got big guys, but they've got the right big guys for this NBA. And to me, at this moment, there's only one team, I think, that can stop them if they play like this. And it's the Warriors. Like, that's the only team. They've showed me already that, yes, the Rockets could get better, and the Rockets clicking on all cylinders, maybe it's a different game. But that first game, yes, AD had 30. Yes, Nico, I think, had 30 or 32 in that game.
36 or something, I think.
But, I mean, that is a team. They came out and balled that first one. I think at this point, the only team that I would say has a definite shot of beating them if they're playing like this is the Warriors, just because of who's on the Warriors.
I think the one weird thing, too, is their ability to take... And I think that, the Warriors are still, for sure, the number one team in the league. I mean, because, again, you look at, their, Steph versus... Well, really, Steph or KD versus, Anthony Davis.
AD.
You're taking... What?
Yeah, you said Anthony Davis. I said AD.
Yeah. So if you're putting Steph or KD up against Anthony Davis, you could make the argument probably AD over Steph, but you're most likely going to take KD over Anthony Davis, and then whoever is clearly going to be Drew Holiday. I mean, you look at their first 2 in Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. That's easily beating Julius Randle, Alfred Payton, Nikola Mirotic, and that's not even including a healthy DeMarcus Cousins. So, I mean, and obviously Steve Kerr is better than Alvin Gentry. So, I mean, Golden State is by far the best team in the Western Conference. That's really not, the question, because...
that's the trump card. It's like, well, who wins? Well, it's Golden State.
And look what they did in the playoffs last year. And obviously, they didn't have Julius Randle and Alfred Payton there, but it wasn't close. And Anthony Davis still played great against Golden State.
There were 2 games that were close, and then there were 2 that weren't.
But it was a pretty easy series for Golden State.
No denying it. It was awesome though to watch. Like, again, I like going different. I like that they went big, but you're right. It's just, this is a team that, for me, I think the biggest challenge that we could see outside of Golden State could be like Denver. Like, they're a team which has outplayed expectations defensively, and I'm very curious to see that matchup. We'll see it on Monday, actually. So I'm kind of annoyed.
I thought Monday they played Golden State.
Wednesday's Golden State. So they go Utah tonight, Denver on Monday, Wednesday's Golden State.
Gotcha.
So that's their gauntlet. Like, let's see how they end up after these 3 games, and we'll see where they're at. But I think defensively, Denver's been impressive to start the season, so I'd love to see what happens during that matchup. Obviously, we hope for a healthy AD going in there just to see a true matchup, but that's the one thing, because outside of that, I think Alfred Payton has played above expectations as well.
Oh, by far.
I don't understand how he cut his hair and all of a sudden he has talent again. But hey, good for him. Maybe he's learned a lot. Maybe he's grown. Maybe he's just improved his game during the offseason.
And my favorite thing, too, about West Coast starts, really I hate them. But
I'd say, because I literally am not awake for 90% of their games
But
anymore.
here's the thing. I have Tuesday off.
Oh.
So I will be able to see the first 45 minutes of the Patriots-Bills game, which is going to be Patriots by 30.
And then you're going to watch Pelicans-Nuggets?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I can watch the good parts of the Patriots-Bills game, and it's going to be over by the first quarter, so I can turn it off, and I won't feel guilty. And then I can
it's
go
like
watch...
Lions-Patriots. That was the last Monday night game for the Patriots.
It was a Sunday night game.
Was it Sunday night?
Yeah.
I thought it was Monday night.
No,
it was a Sunday night game.
Last prime time? No, the last prime time was against the Chiefs.
Yeah, so shut up.
The point that
the struggle is real.
The point was you're wrong, and my point is I'll be watching that game against Denver and New Orleans, and it's going to be exciting because I think that, again, this New Orleans team can be a top 4 team in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
Because obviously Golden State is the primo ultimate number 1. We most likely can, I think it'd be rude not to slide in Houston, because obviously they've struggled a little bit. And
I'm not ready to turn them away yet.
Injuries. Exactly. It's been 6 games. But outside of that, who else is up there? Because I think that, Dave brought up Denver. I have to put him at 3 because that was my hot take. And I'm not really backing down from that. I think that...
the
New
Kings
Orleans
are 3-3. Let's be real here, guys. They're still in this.
I think
and one of their losses
is
to the Pelicans.
Exactly. That's a quality loss.
I think that New Orleans could be that 4th team. And then they could even jump, the Nuggets or even the Rockets as well. I think that this team so far has shown that they have a legitimate star in Anthony Davis. If you didn't question it by his top 3 finish in MVP last year, you're seeing it now. They have like I was looking at his on-off. Anthony Davis with him on the court, they have an offensive rating of 130. Off the court, it's 115, so it's a 14.5 difference. And then the defensive rating is laughable. On the court, they have Anthony Davis and the team has a 107 defensive rating.
107?
Off, it's 133. So Anthony Davis is pretty damn good, and he's pretty important. And when he's out there, he's going to make this team phenomenal.
Here's the interesting part to me. Of course, as we're recording this, they're playing Utah at home. They've only had one road game, and that's against Houston to start the season. After today, at Denver, at Golden State, at Portland, at San Antonio, at OKC. 5 road games. Is that going to take a toll on them early in the season? Where right now they're in this cushion where they've played only one road game, about 4 games at home to start, and now they're going to go on a stretch where they play 5 back-to-back-to-back, not back-to-back days, but back-to-back-to-back-to-back games where you're on the road and not at home.
I mean, yes, but you're a professional basketball team who has done this before.
No, but I mean, like, they're not going to win out.
I mean, for sure. The Nuggets struggle last year away from home. So, do you think that this is a team that also might struggle away?
I don't really think so, just because, like, I mean, it's for sure possible that they could struggle at home. But right now we're seeing them possibly going to be losing their first game, but that's without Anthony Davis.
Right.
And, you know, you can look at their schedule and say, well, they played Sacramento, Brooklyn, and LA. And, you know, those were 3 of their wins. And arguably, those 3 teams aren't going to be playoff teams. I know Dave loves Brooklyn, and LA the Clippers are a decent team. And we'll see them up against
Sacramento is the Sacramento Kings.
We'll see them up against prime competition in Denver, Golden State, Portland, San Antonio, and OKC away. But I think if they go 2 and 3, that's really not a bad mark.
Yeah.
Because you're going up against, you know, all playoff teams last year outside of Denver, and you're still going, you know, near 500. I think that this team isn't going to struggle like on the road because. You know, I don't think that's going to be a major concern. Because, yes, it might have a toll on them, but I don't think it's going to be a huge concern.
And they don't have a ton of young guys. I mean, that's probably to their benefit. So,
and I'm not going to say struggle. The thing that's interesting me in the next few games for the Pelicans, tonight we're seeing it. They're playing a Jazz team that can play very hot on some nights. Like we saw the game you guys mentioned with Joe Ingles earlier in the podcast. Like we made the joke watching that game of the Jazz needed a career night, like breaking 3 franchise records, and still didn't beat the Golden State Warriors, where it's like they're going to be playing Denver, who's playing well early this season, the Warriors, who are the Warriors. Portland is playing well this season. The Spurs are playing pretty good basketball early in the year. Like, these are all teams, like, the Spurs is where it starts to go, shmeh. And then you get the
gimmies in
Thunder,
OKC, Chicago,
Phoenix,
and Phoenix.
Before you go
but
back
OKC might
Toronto.
not be a total gimme because we look at their defense too. They're still one of the best defensive teams in the league. I think they're like 10th right now. And again, Russ is going to be healthier at that point because it's going to be 5 games from now.
To me, the next 3, the one tonight I'm chalking up as a loss because they don't have AD. The next 3 are important: at Denver, at Golden State, at Portland. Because these are teams that are not just playing well right now. These are teams that'll probably be playoff teams down the road.
And to the whole home away thing, last year they were 24-17 home. They were 24-17 away. So I don't think it's going to be a big factor.
Cool.
I mean, could it be something where you're playing 5 straight road games and it's going to take down your quality of play? Yeah, because you're playing 5 straight road games. And you're not going to.
That's a weird schedule, actually.
Yeah. So I think that could be a possibility, but I don't think it's going to be something that we should look out for because again, they start the season off on the road, and they dominate the Houston Rockets. So I think that, you know, a weird schedule can knock them down to reality, but I don't think that means that their reality can't be a top 4 team in the Western Conference.
So you're locking in top 4?
I am.
Confidence percentage, 100%?
Golden State, 100% as the number 1 seed, shockingly. Number 2, I will put Houston as a top 4 team, and that will be at 65% right now.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I'll lock in Denver as a top 4 seed, just because it was a hot take, and that's 100%.
Yeah,
100%, baby, top 4 seed.
Has to be.
And I'll throw the Pelicans in there at 45%. Because I'm not like they're a for sure guarantee.
Yeah,
it's
no,
over 50%.
It's the West. Like, it's going to be close.
But I also don't really think I see a team who can overtake them because the only other team that I could probably talk myself into would be the Lakers because they have LeBron. But I don't think Portland is going to, again, sustain what they're doing right now. I think they can be a playoff team. I know we didn't pick them before the season, but they were a playoff team last year.
I'm going to go 50%. 50% on it. And the reason why,
difference.
Not just you mentioned the Lakers, but the Jazz as well. The Jazz could be a team that they catch fire later in the year, and I could see the top 3 being in no particular order: Warriors, Rockets, Nuggets, and either the Jazz or the Lakers.
So now,
Jazz, Lakers, or Pelicans.
So now that you're buying the immediate timestamp of who he stopped the season today, the Kings are in the playoffs. No love there. We're not going to get them bumping into the top 4 after a...
No.
All right. Yeah, no, I've got the Pelicans probably going to be a playoff team. I don't have them top 4 though. I think that I think Julius Randle is good. I think everybody, all their big 3 basically that we mentioned, 4 technically we can say, like Randle off the bench and obviously the 3 starters.
Yeah, putting out for Peyton.
Peyton is not. I think Peyton is the guy who's going to be like, we're seeing him play at his highest right now potentially. I don't know when put under pressure what he will be. I don't know that because he hasn't seen the playoffs.
Yeah.
So we'll see what he looks like there, and we'll see what he looks up against amazing quality guards. Because look at the West. So you've got like Jamal Murray, you've got Steph Curry, you've got CJ and Dame. I mean that's
Donovan
Mitchell and Ricky Rubio, no slouch. Like you've got a lot of really talented guards. So if you can't have 2 guards on your team, and I'm concerned, could be a problem.
I think that Utah's a fair team to bring up. That was one team I forgot about there. I still think that we could look back and, New Orleans could have like the second best offense in the league.
Yeah.
With their ability to have Elfrid Payton when he's going up against bad guards.
Weird.
Especially off the bench. Like I think he could be a guy that, dominates second units. Especially having confidence of having like a Mirotic out there who's red hot.
Could you see them
like an Anthony Davis. Like I think that this team could be, they're fairly deep. And I think this team could be a team that, again, keeps up this offensive efficiency. And I think that defensively, they're still going to be fine.
And they still got Ja. Like, Ja coming off the bench. So we know where Ja's at. Don't have to ask.
I think, and Utah, I think, over-succeeded last year, so I wouldn't be shocked if they fell to the 5th seed. And Lakers, again, I can't trust them really right now, although they've been showing, spurts of being good and then being bad. I mean,
hopefully
they beat the Nuggets.
for them, they're going to gel as the season goes on.
Yeah, I was
Boy, did they do
disappointed.
that.
I was disappointed. And LeBron got a triple-double.
And that's with 3 players suspended.
And Lonzo Ball was fantastic.
Yeah.
So I think that, Los Angeles, again, they're going to be a team that needs to find their role. And when they do, I think they're going to be scary. But also, I still think they're going to be like, Cleveland last year. I don't think they're going to be a consistently good team.
It's Pelicans are about 50-50 if they're going to be a top 4 team, but they've got the weapons to do so. For them, it's just they got to make sure that they stay healthy and keep AD safe. Like that's him banging against bigs. There's a reason he likes to play the 4.
Yeah. And right now at the 5 though, he's still dominating.
Yeah.
So I'm not really
I mean like health-wise, like, yeah. You take a beating.
But also I'm not too afraid.
Yeah, I say the JaVale McGee matchup. Be on the lookout.
For sure. Any final thoughts about the Pelicans in the Western Conference?
No.
You guys your thoughts on our food right now?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So we'll wrap this up and we'll get this done.
Here's one thing. This is what I'll end the podcast with. So
Please give me another score update because I think people love that.
No.
3 days later.
Blake has gotten a point. Just to give you that update.
I went to Tankathon.
Yeah.
Let's say the trade goes through and Jimmy gets sent and the Timberwolves get this year's Houston pick. I just did Tankathon. Pick number 1, the T-Wolves. Pick number 2, the Rockets. T-Wolves would have the first 2 picks in the NBA draft.
They get R.J. Barrett and Zion.
If the Rockets stay 1-4 for the whole season, I'm going to be terrified.
Now here's the thing. What would help Karl-Anthony Towns? Zion. Put him at the 5. Put him at small ball 5.
Oh my God.
Have him block shots left and right.
I can't wait till we start talking college basketball.
Well,
you
guys heard the big college news, draft news of the year so far.
Jonte Porter
done for the year.
I think the big draft news is still the biggest kid I've ever seen in my life, Zion Williamson.
Big and fluid. Fluid. They're not supposed to be the same.
And just as like
we actually got a comment on our way too early saying these stupid. 2, I'm thinking it was you guys because I had Zion the highest.
Yeah.
That Zion going to be a top 2 pick is what they said.
My thing is just like watching him, I feel like he just seems like he just seems like a highlight reel, and I don't want to buy into the hype, but also the highlight reel is fucking sick.
It's his whole game. That's the problem.
You
can't have a highlight reel when it's just the entire game, Sean.
God, I can't wait for college basketball.
He's got like a 47-inch vert, and he's a bowling ball of a human. It's awesome. It's so fun to watch. All right, shout out Zion. That's going to be the end of the Fast Break podcast. If you have any thoughts on the Raptors, Pelicans, Rockets, Jimmy Butler, Wet Boys, let us know in the comments. If you have any thoughts about if you are Zion, give us your thoughts in the comments down in the section below. Also, don't forget to review us on iTunes. You could also hit us up on Twitter, at Ricky Widmer, at Dave Don't Tweet, at Schwarbo, and at Most Valuable Pod. I'll most likely just respond to the at Most Valuable Pod one. So hit us up over there if you got any thoughts that you want to throw out at us. But for Dave Oster, for Ricky Widmer, we're going to go get some food. I'm Sean Anderson. See you next time.